Let's not pretend we don't know what's going on. We see it clearly, but we're not saying enough, and we're certainly not fighting back hard enough. It's in the schoolyard, it's in the classroom, it's in the way children speak or don't speak to adults anymore. A collapse of responsibility, a collapse of respect, and a full-blown crisis of character all unfolding right in front of us. And it didn't happen by accident. It was created by parents, by policymakers, and by a wave of progressive theories about childhood and behavior that slowly unraveled the foundations of discipline, structure, and moral clarity. Progressive parenting ideas, non-coercive behavior models, child-led learning, all dressed up as scientific and inclusive, but utterly disconnected from the real world. These weren't just mistakes, these were deliberate shifts led by people who thought they knew better. And now, the consequences are being dumped on our schools, where teachers are left to absorb it, and our society, which now lives with the result. This is not a teacher problem. This is not a school problem. This is a collapse of parenting and a failure of cultural courage. We let go of what held us together, and now we are watching it fall apart. What teachers in school are facing. If you want to see where this cultural collapse lands, step into a school, walk through the corridors, spend 10 minutes in a classroom, ask any honest teacher, you'll find students refusing instructions, verbal abuse, open defiance, even physical intimidation. Parents demanding special treatment for behavior that should have been corrected at home. And the teachers, they're not just tired, they're demoralized, not because they hate the job, but because they are doing a job that used to be shared with families, with communities, with culture, and now it's been dropped entirely on their shoulders. And when they try to draw a line, they are questioned, they are blamed, they're sometimes even threatened. Teachers are asked to fix what they didn't break, without power, without support, and without respect. Parents, the collapse of responsibility. Let's turn now to where this really begins, the home. Because what schools are dealing with day after day isn't just behavioral breakdown, it's a collapse of parenting. And it's not just about bad manners or occasional outbursts, it's something deeper. A total abandonment of responsibility for behavior, for learning, and for character. When it comes down to learning, today's parents want results, but take no ownership of the process. The child doesn't finish homework, the teacher is blamed. The child underperforms, the curriculum's too hard, the teacher is boring, the school isn't meeting their needs. The child is disruptive or disengaged. Well, that's the system's fault, never the family's. We now have parents who don't check homework, who don't enforce reading or study habits, who don't build discipline at home, and then demand performance from teachers like they are miracle workers. They want academic success with no parental effort, behavioral control with no family discipline, emotional regulation with no boundaries at home. That's not education. That's outsourcing, and then blaming the provider when the product fails. When it comes to behavior, when a child acts out, the school is blamed. When the child is corrected, the teacher is questioned. And when a child fails, it's never the parenting. It's the environment. It's the learning style. It's the mental health label, real or self-diagnosed. It's anything but the truth. The truth is this. Too many parents today want credit when their child succeeds, but none of the responsibility when they fail. And the child sees this. They learn. Rules are optional, boundaries are negotiable, and if I push hard enough, someone will rescue me. The parents, there are two extremes. Let's talk about the home, because that's where character is formed, or isn't. And right now, we are seeing two extremes. The over-involved, over-anxious parent. Helicopter, snowplow, call them what you like. Hovering constantly, removing every obstacle, over-interpreting every emotion, blaming every teacher who dares to draw a line. These parents don't lead. They negotiate, shield, and then blame the school when their child can't function without special treatment. The careless parent, checked out, disconnected, emotionally unavailable. These parents don't hover. They disappear. They show up only in crisis, and even then, not to ask what went wrong, but to find someone to blame. It's the teacher, it's the school, it's the government, it's society, it's the other students, it's the label. They will name everything and everyone except the one person who actually changed things, themselves. Then there are the educators who aren't in classrooms. Now let's talk about the academics, the ones who shaped the policies, the ones who designed the frameworks, the ones who sit on government advisory panels. They're always chasing the new models, new philosophies, new acronyms and buzzwords. Because if it's new, it must be better. If it's labeled scientific, it must be superior. But let me ask one simple question. Does it work? Has it worked? In real classrooms, with real kids, with real consequences? No. Then what exactly are we doing? These ideas are being crafted in lecture halls, published in glossy PDFs, and handed down to schools, while teachers are left to enforce theory that ignores reality. What's really being lost? The result? We are raising children who can't handle being corrected, who don't believe adults deserve respect, are even never taught that actions have consequences. And this isn't the child's fault. This is about adults who stopped doing their job, especially at home. We used to raise children with the idea that character mattered, that you respected elders, that you were responsible for your actions, that school was a place of learning and discipline. Now, everything's negotiable. Every outburst is pathologized. Every child is treated like a fragile egg until they become aggressive, entitled, or lost. This isn't about bad kids. It's about absent adults. Let's be clear. This is not a generation of bad children. It's a generation growing up without enough responsible adults. And schools are left to carry that collapse. Teachers managing behavior that should have been addressed at home. Principals diffusing parents, not disciplining students. Classrooms becoming emotional triage units instead of learning environments. And still, we dare to blame the school? No, the school is not the problem. It's the last place left holding the line. What needs to change? This is not unfixable, but it will take courage, not theory, clarity, not jargon, and grown-ups, not just policy. Parents must lead, not orbit their children. Stop hovering, stop disappearing, start parenting. Responsibility begins at home, not at the school gate. Teachers must be backed in word and action, not just talk of valuing teachers. Give them authority again, protect them from abuse, and trust them to lead. They are mentors, not enemies. Policy must come from the ground up. Stop imposing top-down theory. Listen to principals. Listen to frontline teachers. not just consultants, not just university departments, not just behavior theorists who haven't stepped into a classroom in years. We must stop pathologizing normal childhood behavior. Not every tantrum is trauma. Not every no is abuse. Sometimes a child just needs to be told. That's not acceptable. Respect must return as a civic value, not just a household rule, not just a school rule, but a shared social contract. Respect for teachers, respect for boundaries, respect for the role of adults in shaping the next generation. We are witnessing a collapse, not of funding, not of curriculum, but a collapse of parental responsibility, respect for schools, and the very virtues we used to call character. And teachers, they've become the last adults left standing, expected to raise children, manage behavior, soothe parents, and teach, all at once. That's not sustainable. If we want our schools to thrive, if we want our kids to grow up strong, then here's the hard truth. It's not the school that needs to change. It's the parenting culture. Because unless we bring back responsibility, unless we teach respect, we won't just lose control, we'll lose a generation. We have already lost one, we'll lose another. Thank you.